It's kind of funny how just in this movie and this movie only, we have two actors, both Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio, in one movie together playing brothers. And it's funny to think that both of these men play villains that are so obsessive with taking down heroes. It's crazy. Because, I mean, you have Vincent D'Onofrio playing, of course, the Kingpin in the MCU, and then you have Liev Schreiber voicing him in the Spider-Verse films. So it's kind of funny to think that both of them would team up and take down our hero. I kind of wonder what was it like on set for them to discuss it. Like, do you honestly think that they were probably sitting there talking about how much they love New York and thinking about Vanessa all the time? Do you honestly think that that could be the case? Because I just think that'd be kind of funny to see these two just talk about that and see how it would go. Or at some point team up, wreak havoc for both Spider-Man, Daredevil, and Punisher. You might as well. I think that'd be kind of funny, but kind of cool too.
I don't suppose you're Jewish, are you?
Eat, skinny boy.
Eat or you're gonna upset her. I like you, Hank.
Caught Stealing is directed by Darren Aronofsky with a screenplay by Charlie Huston. The film stars Austin Butler, Regina Kane, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Liev Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio, Bad Bunny, Griffin Dunne, and Carol Kane. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, burnt-out ex-baseball player Hank Thompson unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of 1990s New York City, forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. Okay, so Darren Aronofsky is a filmmaker that I would want to assume not a lot of people know about as much, and not to say that nobody knows who he is. I mean, of course, the film world knows who he is, but I would want to assume most of the casual audiences wouldn't be familiar with that name. I think many would though know his collective work that he has made over the years, his filmography, films that he has dabbled himself into, from the surreal nature of Requiem for a Dream, which is still a movie I'm both wanting to watch but also not wanting to watch. It's like one of those movies where you just want to watch it just once and that be it. The fact that it deals with drug abuse and the effects it has on people, I hear amazing, really great things about it. I will hopefully one day watch it if I have the stomach for it. The somberness of The Wrestler, which helped reinvigorate Mickey Rourke's career and seeing the trajectory of which his career is at this point, to the elegant beauty of Black Swan, which came out now 15 years ago and still is recognizable to this day. The disturbing vibes of Mother, which I would think is still Darren Aronofsky's most controversial film to date. To this day, a lot of people debate over that film and what people like and hate about that film, and The Heartache That Was the Whale, which got Brendan Fraser turned to not just Hollywood but really a Oscar win for him. With having a star-studded cast with Butler in the lead, I was curious on what he had in store for audiences, with this being a crime thriller but also throwing a little bit of dark comedy. Let's get some jokes into here, okay? Usually, crime thrillers tend to take on different forms in that scenario, whether you want it to be serious or goofy, or you could try to combine both, but rather, you usually have a template of, do you want to take the serious route, or do you want to have fun with this and just laugh at the ridiculous nature of it? Darren Aronofsky, he said, I want to have fun with this. I don't want to take anything super duper seriously. In the end, I found myself going along for the ride because I found myself really actually quite enjoying this film by the end. I was pleasantly surprised in how much this film kept me enthralled with what it had to go off of, and just all in all, just being a good time to watch a crime thriller of this nature. Watching how Butler draws people in and the story keeping viewers excited with how it plays out was, I think, the biggest highlight with this movie. But before discussing my minor issues, my minor problems that I do have with the film, Here are the positives. The performances are connective. The cast, but mainly Austin Butler, add to the charm and fun of the film, allowing for everyone to lean into the tone and style. Austin Butler had already proved himself to be a good actor, not only from Elvis, but then also with his supporting role in Doom Part 2. So for him to now be being himself, not playing somebody else or playing a really ridiculous villain, he is just playing how you would think a charming, charismatic actor would be. He does really well. He is really likable, but also fun as Hank Thompson, a guy who wanted to be a baseball player. Circumstances got in the way and it just didn't pan out for him. But to see him go through this whole dilemma of having to deal with so many people looking for money and how he gets himself caught into this whole situation was not only funny, but it was also kind of riveting to watch him try to handle how many people are after this money and how they're going after him specifically just because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And just watching Austin Butler really command those scenes along with other actors. He's really good with Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz also does really well in the film as his girlfriend, and I do think that both of them have really good intimate scenes together and they really show their love for one another. You also have his scenes with Matt Smith is also really hilarious in the film and adds to a bit of the comedy factor, even though he's not in it a lot. When he does show up, though, he's really funny. And then you also have Vincent D'Onofrio and Liev Schreiber. Those two, it's just kind of funny on the roles that they play. Because if you know these guys as actors and you're just watching them play these roles, you're like, what? But you're just going along with it, and it's kind of funny. And they were really enjoyable, and their dynamic with Austin Butler also helps it out. And Virginia Hall was also entertaining to watch as this cop who is involved in this investigation, and the story that involves with her. I thought that was really good, and some really good tense moments with her and Austin Butler. All in all, everyone in the cast does an amazing job, and they help lend themselves to what the film is. The direction is sharp. Director Darren Aronofsky keeps the movie grounded in both scope and scale, feeling like a throwback to old crime films of the past. How crime movies nowadays, they don't feel like this type of nature. Not to say that they can't be serious, but like the fun and at times hilarious nature. Sure, you'll have somebody say, well, maybe like a crime heist film is something like, Ocean's 11 of that nature, but nothing like this hasn't been seen all that much. If you look at like some like movies from maybe the early 2000s or really like the 90s, there were quite a few films like this where it would fit into the realm of it's a crime thriller, but it also has some comedy elements that are thrown into it. And I think that is what's been missing for a while. And so for Darren Aronofsky to kind of bring back that old school vibe into today, I think works well. And I do like the fact that this is a smaller scale film. It doesn't try to go big, it doesn't get any bigger than what this is. It's just simply people are looking for money, they're trying to find it. That's all it is. And I think Darren Aronofsky is able to keep viewers invested with twists and turns and all these sorts of elements that makes a crime thriller fun, but also knows how to have kind of a sense of humor. And I think he does a nice job of running along these ideas and keeping audiences really focused on it. The writing is effective. Writer Charlie Huston offers a witty and funny script that keeps scenes enticing and fast, leading to good back and forth banter with the cast. If you're going to have a good cast, you have to have a good script. And thankfully, Charlie Huston, who this is actually based off his book that I didn't even know about, but still, the fact that he's involved in this, was able to craft a screenplay for this, for the actors to kind of just dissect and get themselves involved in, worked very well. A lot of good dialogue between characters as well as just having good chemistry with one another in those scenes, even if it's not like the entire movie, like everyone is just together. The fact that they are able to have those minor conversations with one another, I think works well. And again, the humor lands pretty well. It's not to the point of trying to be over the top zaniness, but it does lead to some really good, funny, albeit chuckled moments that just add a bit of that nice touch to the film. The cinematography is stellar. Cinematographer Matthew Leback shows the dirty and living feels of the 90s New York City, keeping it feeling personal. Matthew Leback, I had just praised him on Highest to Lowest, was also showcasing New York City in that film, and so for him to return with this movie and showcasing New York City, but in the 90s, and how grungy, how lived in, and how dirty New York City can be. Comparing this to Highest to Lowest is a little bit unfair, but that movie showcased the way in which society from the higher standards kind of sees New York City. Not to say that it was never gritty or dark in that movie, but compared to this is like grungy. This is more so like you are in like a shithole. And to watch this movie showcase how much times have changed, how payphones and cars, as well as just how characters interact and how they acted, I think really showcases how much times have changed. And I think Matthew Labatic does a good job of showcasing not just that, but showing the sequences that are in the film that I thought were really engaging and helping along keeping this film as enticing as it is. The story is engaging. Watching the ex-baseball player navigate the criminal underworld of 90s New York City was investing and crazy, making it feel like a roller coaster. Like I said, seeing Hank Thompson, who wanted to be a baseball player, was hoping to go somewhere with that, and ultimately it didn't pan out. Again, the movie explains and tells you what happens, but seeing how he tries to navigate this whole criminal underbelly, having to deal with the Russians, the Puerto Ricans, the Hebrews, like it's just kind of funny, but it's also kind of entertaining to watch. See, how is he gonna outmaneuver all these guys when he's not even supposed to be involved in this situation? It was almost like he's the bystander in this whole scenario that just got involved. He was never meant to be involved in this whole thing. He was never asked by Matt Smith to go to point A to point B, and that's it. It just so happens he's just next door neighbors with him, was caught on the bad day when the Russians got involved, and so now he has to find a way to get out of this situation. And it was just really funny, but also really fun to watch. The production is effortless. Seeing the sets, costumes, cars, and crew work shows the dedication to the project. For $40 million, it actually looks really good. For how much this movie was, it does show, again, the effort and the productive work that goes into making sure that a movie, especially with this being set in 1998, the fact that they had to make sure payphones and showcasing just even like the smallest parts of New York City, I think was really awesome to showcase. And then of course, again, the costume and how much that invokes what the 90s were, especially on Matt Smith. He's invoking all the punk rock energy in this film, and the way characters are in their environments, the sets that they're in, it benefits the movie in really inhabiting that feeling of what the 90s was. The music is exciting. Composer Rob Simonson Ailes crafts a score that invokes the punk aesthetic of its style. Along with that, licensed music complements the film as well. It's almost like both of those blend together so seamlessly into the movie where it just fits perfectly, and it really does feel as if this was always part of the film, because usually sometimes like a score can still fit into a movie, but licensed music is one thing, and the licensed music in here fits perfectly, and again the score also helps the film out as well. The action sequences are thrilling. Every sequence feels fast and hard-hitting, that makes it both funny and enthralling, allowing audiences to enjoy the moment to moment. Even though I wouldn't say it's necessarily full blown like action sequences. It's mostly like kind of just chases and a few fight sequences. Still, the effort was there to showcase the frantic nature of how characters would go about handling situations, or how funny it can be in those life or death moments. And I think it does add to the fun but also exciting factor of it. With that said, there were some minor issues that did held it back for me from being much more than that. And it's not to say that they're necessarily bad, but I do think that could they have improved upon this? I think so. So here are now the negatives. The pacing runtime is drawn out. Though the beginning starts out pretty well and actually gets the movie going, the rest starts to kind of go back and forth in its pacing, especially when it gets to the middle portion of it, and then up until like the end, it just kind of starts to drag out. With a runtime of 1 hour and 47 minutes, I think they could have trimmed it down just a bit to probably about like an hour 35. I think that would have worked out well. Maybe even, and I say even, an hour 40. But I do think that the movie does get to a point of it starts to drag out its plot even further. And I just don't think that this movie, for what it sets out to be, I don't think it necessarily needs to be close to 2 hours. I think they could have gotten away with something a little bit shorter. The flashback sequences is too much. While it sets up Butler's trauma, and yes, there is something that happens in the movie that explains what has happened to his career, it repeats the flashback so often that it does start to kind of get a bit annoying, and it does lean in too much on constantly having to just think about it. And while I understand that is how trauma works, I just think that it would be best if you just see like Butler reaction to it rather than just constantly showing us the sequence over and over again, because it just gets to a point where we've already saw it, we know what's going through him, and the fact that they constantly show it does get a little bit annoying quite a bit. I don't think this necessarily needs to be constantly replayed multiple times. Darren Aronofsky delivers on the charm and fun that movies like this used to do, how they are able to strung you along, give you something that you can look forward to, but also laugh at as well. With Butler guiding us, it's able to get fast and loose with its story. I think it is a really fun, enticing plot for how this movie goes about it. Aside from its pacing slash runtime and flashback sequences, it's a thrilling time. If you want a good movie to at least end the summer off on a good note, I think that this is a good one to go out and see, if you ask me, because the summer, we've had a lot of big movies come out lately, and this is one where it's not flashy, it's not trying to do anything super amazing, but if you just want something that can be a good old fashioned throwback to a time period in which you did see some crime thrillers that were like this, I definitely give this a watch. I'm going to give Caught Stealing an 8 out of 10. This was a great time, and I'm so happy at the very least that for the summer movies to end on high notes, which is good, because I was kind of worried that how last year's summer movies was. I was just like, I'm dreading how August is going to go, especially with the last movie. I don't know how this will be, and thankfully, Darren Aronofsky, you delivered me something that I actually had a great time with, and I am just happy knowing that I can get something that can be pretty fun. It doesn't need to take itself super seriously. It just knows how to have fun with it. So, guys, that is it. That is the summer of 2025 films. For those who have been watching and liking the videos that I've been making, thank you as always. I appreciate it a lot. Helps me out, but also it just makes me happy knowing that there are people that do either enjoy these videos or just like some of my takes. I don't know. That I just always assume that people just have different takes, but I always appreciate the love and support. So we will now be moving into fall, but I will be explaining something with regards to this month of September, because now that we have come to August, we are now moving into September, and I would like to explain something once I post my review schedule, so you will hear about that very soon. So yes, look forward to other reviews and more movie reviews coming soon.